Today on Dr. Phill, he blames his mother-in-law.
Did you tell your daughter not to put his name on a birth certificate?
For destroying his family.
You're lying right here on TV.
You know what? You're the liar.
I'm getting ready to turn a whole bunch of you into Child Protective Services.
Plus, he's had affairs.
Because you get an adrenaline rush.
But no time for his wife.
He made time every single day for 8 weeks to sleep with my friend.
How's your adrenaline running right now? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phill.
Listen, take
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
In 5, 4,
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phill.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Hey. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, Joey says all of his dreams came true the day he and his wife, Amanda, started a family. But his world shattered when the mother of his child almost didn't include him on the birth certificate. Things got even worse when Amanda took their daughter, walked out the door, and filed a protection order against him just 6 months after saying "I do." And who does Joey blame for destroying his marriage? Himself? Not hardly. His mother-in-law, Mina, who he says treats him like the scum of the earth. Take a look.
Well, the first time our family was introduced to Joey, he said, "Hi, my name is Joey. I'm never wrong."
My mother-in-law, Mina, was very judgmental towards me.
She just didn't like him.
Joey is a very hostile, volatile, and disagreeable person.
My mother-in-law, Mina, is controlling, mean, and spiteful person.
When Amanda's cousin got married, at the wedding reception, he was yelling and screaming obscenities at Amanda. And I said to her, if he's mean to you, and you can break up with him right now, cut your losses.
We started fighting a lot after I found out I was pregnant. My mom told me not to put Joey's name on the birth certificate until we were married.
He reacted very poorly when Amanda told him. He became very hostile towards me. How dare you say something like that?
Once my mother-in-law, Mina, started pressuring Amanda into leaving my name off of the birth certificate, I knew that we were not going to get along.
The big turning point was when he pushed me against the counter. I knew at that point that I was definitely unsafe around him.
First words out of her mouth is, "I can't believe you pushed me. You pushed me."
I called the police and I left with the clothes that my daughter and I had on our back.
That was her breaking point.
That was her proof that she could take to her family and say that I was a violent person.
My daughter's marriage is over, and I blame it on Joey.
Well, Amanda says her estranged husband, Joey, needs to stop blaming her mother, Mina, for destroying their marriage.
I have been told by Joey that he thinks that I'm crazy and that he thinks that I'm controlling and that he thinks that I am doing all of these things with malicious intent.
I believe my mother-in-law, Mina, is about 90% responsible for all of our marital problems.
My daughter had a protective order issued because Joey is violent and unstable. He has sent me text messages that say that he was going to come to my house and this and that and the other.
I have sent some pretty nasty texts to her. She submitted a lot of these texts to court, but then she deletes out all of her text messages back to me. She turns it into a one-sided conversation. My mother-in-law, Mina, bragged about how she worked so hard to keep the birth of my son from me. He existed in the world for a whole week, and I didn't know anything about him.
To me, being a dad is a lot more than just being able to inseminate someone. The question that I have for Dr. Phill is, am I just crazy? Because if there's something I'm not seeing in this situation that I need to be seeing, then I need to have it pointed out to me.
Okay, you think that there is a possibility that you're over-involved here?
I'm open to any possibility at this point because clearly what we've been doing legally and whatnot is not working. Parent time's not working, child support's not working.
That's because you forced your way in on our relationship. You forced your way in on the relationship between me and my children.
Into our relationship, Joey.
She requested that the court put her in between me and my children so she can be in control.
No, I requested.
You requested
that she do that.
so that she could be in control, so that she could keep my kids from me, so that she could make me chase it down, and then promise that, oh, I'm doing everything I can to accommodate you.
No, I asked her to do it because I can't deal with you. Because you are unpredictable and you are out of control when
Why do you need your mother involved at all?
My mom was my support system, and she was the one who offered me to do the parent time and help out with that.
When you have a protective order in place, it means that those two can't talk at all. So someone else had to do parent time.
Okay, well, what's your ownership in this?
He has none.
I've wanted to be a daddy my entire life.
But why did you say that you think she trapped you by getting pregnant?
Because she claimed that she believed she was pregnant once, and even though I was nervous about it, I was so excited to have a kid. At the time, I didn't even care who it was with. I was just so excited. I'm having a baby.
You say she's 90% of the reason that this marriage is caved in. 90% of the reason. And I ask you, what's your ownership? And you said, oh, I just wanted to be a daddy. I just wanted to be a daddy. So you think you have zero ownership in this?
No, absolutely not. I believe that we
Well, we got
did
90% here. Is the 10% divided between you two?
I would say that, yes.
And then what part of that 10 would be you?
I'm a vocal person. I'm a very passionate person. I like to say what I think a lot.
Well, let me ask you about that. Did you wind up in contempt of court for failure to return her personal property and failure to comply with a protective order?
I did end up with a contempt of court charge because of it, but at the same time,
yes.
Yeah, but at the same time, she had come and picked up her property already. I don't have any of her property.
Have you yelled and thrown things at her while she was pregnant?
I have never thrown anything, but yes, I have yelled.
Did you throw a baby mobile at her?
No, I haven't thrown anything at her ever.
During a fight?
I believe I have.
Did you kick the car during a fight? The police were called?
No, there would have been the police weren't called because there wasn't any evidence. There's no police report.
Did you push her into a counter when she was 8 weeks pregnant?
We tripped over each other, and yes, I did back her into a counter, yes.
Did you lose your temper in court to the point that they almost arrested you in the courtroom?
Yes, because Amanda started claiming that I left her for another woman and was just throwing out some just flat out lies against me, and I didn't have a chance to even speak in that court. I was told to sit down.
Have you so they weren't being fair to you?
No, they have not been fair.
Talk.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, did you call her a bitch?
I have called Amanda that in my life,
Did you call her the word?
Amanda, no.
Oh, did you reserve that?
Yes.
Are you paying your child support?
I have actually tried to pay my child support back in July. I gave Mina a check, and she basically didn't deposit it, so I haven't tried to pay it yet. I now have something set up with the government so I can actually prove that I'm paying child support from here on out, yes.
So the answer is no, you're not paying child support.
No, but I have tried. I have made an effort.
How you try to pay child support? They won't take the money?
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I gave her a check.
No, you did not.
And all you have to do is not deposit a check, and I have
I would have deposited it and helped money.
I don't believe that you even know the extent of what this woman has done.
I don't believe that you know the extent of what you've done.
I know exactly what
I did. Did you get in a fight with Amanda at her cousin's wedding?
Yes, I did.
Did you hit her?
No, I've never hit Amanda.
Did you punch her?
Ever? No, never.
Did you scream, call her a bitch?
We were both screaming at each other. I can't remember what was said, but I've never hit her. I've never threatened her. Never tried to hurt her in any way, shape, or form.
All right, Amanda and Joey's custody issues continued to play out here in Los Angeles after they flew in to appear on the show. We'll talk about that when we come back.
September 4th was to be parent time. He showed up at my door. Joey Lou, of course, runs straight to her daddy.
I picked her up, threw her on my hip, and took off.
I'm like, where are you taking her? So I called the police. My worst nightmare is that harm would come to my grandchildren. Amanda called and she was crying. She was hysterical. She was bawling on the phone saying Joey had thrown the baby's mobile across the room at her. She was scared to death. She was terrified. I told Amanda, this is abusive. This is just gonna get worse.
Well, that was Mina talking about her son-in-law's violent outburst. Now, Mina says dealing with Joey's parent time is always a fight. She says she's just tired of all of his antics. But Joey
show
says
up when you're supposed to
his
be there,
mother-in-law
be home,
is
answer
just
phone
plotting
calls.
to take away his children. Take a look.
My worst nightmare is that harm would come to my grandchildren.
Mina has worked very hard to make sure that every single visit I have with either of my children is in her home. You know, she wants to pick a fight every single time we get together.
September 4th was to be parent time, and he showed up at my door an hour earlier than typical. And Joey Lou, of course, runs straight to her daddy. She's excited to see him. He picks her up, says blank to me.
Mina had told me that I'm not allowed to take her out of the house. So I just went ahead and picked her up, threw her on my hip, and took off.
I'm like, where are you taking her? And when are you coming back with her? He won't answer me, so I called the police.
A couple of cop cars tried to stop me because I guess Mina told them I was trying to kidnap my daughter.
I really don't like at all the way that he's handling his responsibilities as a parent and handling these parent time exchanges, but I'm not in charge of him.
Not anymore, you're not.
I never was in charge of you, Joey.
You really tried.
Okay, I asked him what percentage of this he had. He said 90% of the reason my marriage is caving in is my mother-in-law. That leaves 10% divide between the two of you. He said these are all just misunderstandings. He's trying to pay his child support. He didn't. Do you work?
I work 6 days a week. I pay for everything for my children.
I've offered to take care of child care, and you won't even tell me where she goes. I don't even get to know where she's at in daycare.
Do you
because
work?
you're violent.
Yes. I work full-time.
You work full-time. Have you always?
No.
I mean, I have always worked full-time. I've had some time where I didn't work, yes.
Did he criticize you for working so much?
Yeah, he got upset.
Well, it seems like you were working like sometimes
Around the
11
clock.
hours a day, and he wasn't working, but he was criticizing you for working so much.
Yeah.
That's what you told us.
Because he wanted me to come home. He also wanted me to come home and cook and clean and do everything
You've
else
never
for
cooked
him.
or cleaned in our entire relationship. You've never cleaned a single thing. In fact, you
That's interesting.
stored dirty diapers under our daughter's playpen.
That's
because I
interesting.
kept asking you to throw them out, and you would leave them in the bed, you'd leave them on furniture, and then you
okay.
started hiding them under the playpen because you
Yeah.
refused to clean anything.
Yes, because
Yes.
that's what I wanted to happen.
So
that
what happened
playpen.
once you guys got here?
Well, Saturday night, my stepdad, Donald, called Joey to ask him where to do parent time, and he said, I asked you not to talk to me.
Which I have done. I
So-
filed a police report asking the
I
police
decided to
call
take it
saying not
upon
having
myself
enough
and
contact
figure it
with
out, and it was a 3.5-hour battle to get you to tell me where you wanted to do parent time. Instead
Because-
of just saying, yes, I'd love to do parent time, Amanda, here's where I'd like you to drop our son off.
Because you're required by law to let me know if you're taking our kids out of state. I had made arrangements to have my
My
son
lawyer
picked
tried
up.
to contact you. You didn't respond.
I was supposed to receive an itinerary. I was supposed to receive contact information, and I
Okay,
have
well,
no
I could
idea
have left
if our
our son
where
home.
I
could
still
have
have
left
no
our-
idea where our daughter
I could have
is.
left
I
our
still have
son
no
home
idea.
and been in contempt of court for not giving you your parent time, and you would have thrown that in my face.
I had
so
made
I brought our
arrangements
son.
to
I
get him
fought
picked
to
up
bring
at the
our
police
son.
station. You wanted to meet me on the street
Well,
somewhere.
here's
Okay.
there's actually a text record of all of this. Amanda wrote this text to Joey. The bottom line is, do you want to see our son? Me, you, my mom, Donald, and everyone at Dr. Phill knows you are here. If you do want to see him, my mom and I will meet you so you can have your parent time. Joey to Amanda. The bottom line is that I have made arrangements with my family to pick him up where and when we agreed. The bottom line is you broke the law. So Amanda says, okay, fine. Don't see your son tomorrow. Just remember this was your choice. Let me know no later than 10 a.m. tomorrow morning if you change your mind so we can make arrangements to meet. To which Joey responds, you don't get to threaten me. The court order doesn't give you the power to take my son out of state and make demands like this. Does he harass you when you're out with friends?
When we were together, he would call
That's
me
what I'm talking
all the
about.
time to find out when I was going to be home, why I wasn't home, why I didn't want to spend time with our family, why I would rather be with my friends than with him.
Actually, the conversation was, if you're going to be late coming home from work, can you at least let me know when you're getting home so I know when I should start worrying?
How many times would you ask that question in, say, 2 hours?
It would be once every time she would not show up. She would not. I never called
not
her
came
while
home.
she was
The only
out.
time I ever went to.
What do you call
friend's house.
harassment if you were out with friends?
Asking what my,
I mean, would he
what
call
my
you a
daughter
lot?
eats
Would he
every
text
day.
you a
He
lot?
called
What was
me
it?
and texted me the whole time I was with them until I finally gave up and just came home.
Like how many times?
Probably a good 10 times.
How many
in
times
a
did you respond?
2-hour period.
And you're lying right here on TV. You're going to lie. You have a history of lying.
No,
I
you
got
know
court
what?
records
You're
that can
the
prove
liar,
it.
and you keep trying to accuse everybody else of being
I've
the
never
liar.
harassed anyone.
Joey, you're the only one who doesn't take any responsibility
court
for
documents.
anything that happened
You
in
have
our
I've got court
relationship.
documents that say
show
that you,
anything. Your
that
court
say that
documents
Amanda
are
claimed that
full
she
of
left me because I
crap.
was an abusive drug
There is
addict.
not
I passed
a
the
court
drug
document
test.
saying that.
There's a history of separation where Amanda says she left me. We were in
That's
court.
right.
Then she
That's
started.
the court
Then she
document.
started. Then she started claiming that I left her for another
No,
woman.
that was
a lie.
that was
a lie.
Stop. That was an interruption and a misunderstanding between
Oh,
me
I
and
left
my
you
boy.
for another woman was a misunderstanding? That's a huge deal. That's a lie
No.
to make me look like a monster.
The attorney misunderstood his notes and made a misspeech.
Well, Mina's husband, Donald, has been watching the show and live tweeting. He has a lot to say. We'll hear from him next. Plus, Joey has a new roommate who moved in this last weekend. I don't know who that is, but we'll find out.
Joey, you threw a mobile at me when our daughter was a month old.
Thing that
You threw
suggests
our
that
daughter's
maybe,
mobile at me when we were a month
I
old.
tried to take our daughter.
there
You
is
are
no
a
law
violent
for that.
person.
Joey was becoming more and more aggressive and hostile towards Amanda when he would come to pick Joey Lou up at our home. So right now we're doing parent time exchanges at a police station so that it won't be such a battlefield.
Well, Joey claims that he wants to divorce his mother-in-law, Mina, who he feels has conspired with his estranged wife, Amanda, to take away his children. All right, Mina says Joey's antics during parenting time have gotten so bad that it is giving her distress. Now, Mina's husband, Donald, has been watching the show from home and tweeting up a storm about what he has heard today. The first one he has up is Joey has two sides. One is a consummate actor. Then he said, they fought almost continuously from the first day we met him. Then he said, his antics are indicative of his personality. Scary.
What we fought about
You
was
seem-
her.
No,
That
what we
most of
fought
our
about
fight,
was you and
because I
me, and
called
you're
her
unwilling
evil.
to take responsibility for that.
What did we fight about? What was our fights about?
Money, not
We
you
didn't
not
fight
having a
about money.
job.
We didn't fight about that.
Oh, we did, Joey.
We fought about her
No.
because you were so upset that I didn't like your mom. That's what we fought about most of the time.
Yeah,
Because
and you
I
had
was
no
being
reason to
too
not
mean.
like my mom.
Did you tell your daughter not to put his name on a birth certificate?
She came to me after a really bad fight with her and Joey, and here's exactly what I said. She was upset. It had been a terrible, terrible argument. She was newly pregnant, and I said to her, there are other ways to handle this, Amanda. You don't have to get married to him. You can break it off now. You can cut your losses. You can have the baby, not put the baby's any information on
You
the
asked her to
birth
claim
certificate.
that she didn't know who the dad was.
Just
That's
put
like-
nothing on the birth certificate,
the only
and there
way to
are
do
ways
that.
in the state of Utah that if he wants to be the parent, he can take care of that.
But commonsensically, is that reasonable? Is it fair? I mean, this is the
He
father
was already
of that
being
child.
so violent and so hostile towards her.
Where's the police reports that say I'm violent?
We
if I'm
have
so
the
violent,
police reports,
you
Dr.
got
Phil. You
one.
have.
You
the police
admitted
report.
in the
got
police
one.
report that you pushed me, Joey.
I will say that I did admit that, and I ended up admitting it in court because my lawyer said, don't fight the police report. I
And then
explained to
you're
him
gonna
what
try
happened.
and say no?
I tripped over us.
That's
we
interesting.
tripped over each other, and that's what happened. And I had to go with it because the cop says,
Because
yes,
you
he
admitted it in the
pushing me.
police report.
But he did say there was no domestic violence, otherwise I would have went to jail. And then you got one instance in all of this stuff where you're claiming that I'm violent, throwing things, I'm hurting people.
Joey, you
got
threw a
one
mobile at me when
police
our daughter
report.
was
You
a
got
month
one
old.
Thing that
You threw
suggests
our
that
daughter's
maybe,
mobile at me
maybe,
when we were a month
and I
old.
tried to take our daughter.
And there
You
is
are
no
a
law for
violent
that.
person.
Okay, who's your new roommate?
My girlfriend.
His second
girlfriend since November.
Does that make me a villain?
While you're still divorced?
Because I left somebody who was not a good person.
Still not divorced?
What do you care who he's dating as long as it's not your daughter?
Yeah.
Well, here's the only problem. He has the 2-year-old call her mommy.
My 2-year-old calls her. Her name is. That's what my 2-year-old calls her. She called her mom because my girlfriend had a teenage daughter that called her mom. And one thing about Joey, if you know anything about her, she likes to be big. So she hung out with that teenager, and she wanted to do everything that teenager did. That wasn't my plan. I just didn't fight it because it made her feel big. She never called her mommy. She called her mom. Amanda was mommy. I made sure that there was a distinction so that she knew who mommy was.
Except
the same
for
way I
when
won't
we
let her
were
call me
talking on
dad.
the phone, you'd be like, oh, you want to come with mommy and daddy?
Never, ever in my life have I ever called her mommy. Anywhere, anytime, ever.
I want to know what would have to happen here to make you happy and peaceful about this situation. Joey and Amanda both say they want to learn how to co-parent their children as a team. So we'll see if something can happen to put the anger and game playing aside long enough to give their child a chance. We'll be right back.
Little girl loves the park. I took her to the park and we had a blast. So I went and dropped her off at home, and Mina has now submitted an affidavit to the court implying that I had done something with my daughter, and it mentions there is sand that was sticking to her bottom near her rectum.
I've never said that Joey sexually molested Joey Lou.
Quote on
Well,
that?
Joey and Amanda have 2 children. They're 2.5 and 4 months old. Joey says he is fed up with all of the false accusations that his mother-in-law keeps making, from molestation claims to not paying child support. But Mina says she is fed up with his antics and just wants him to be civil. Is there anybody here that is implying, insinuating, or otherwise suggesting that he is molesting his daughter?
No.
No, and it's never been said.
That's never been said.
I just got a
It's a
public
lie.
record here on national television, of which you will have a DVD, where they acknowledge you are not doing anything inappropriate with your daughter in that regard. Don't argue with a good outcome. Listen, I'm getting ready to turn a whole bunch of you into Child Protective Services if you don't behave yourself. I'm going to say this to y'all one time, and you're either going to hear me or you're not, and understand when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. You are hurt and you're angry, so you're being jerky towards these people. I'm not saying you are a jerk, you are behaving in a jerky fashion. Y'all are very hostile and defensive, supposedly on behalf of the children, against this monstrous human being over here. So instead of being mature adults that sit down and say, you know what, this was a bad decision for us to get married. The only good thing that came out of it are 2 beautiful, precious children. We don't have to like each other. We don't have to see each other. We can spend whatever money it takes to do this through a court-appointed intermediary. But if that's what you need to do to get through right now, then that's what you need to do. You are an adult. Deal with the father of your children.
Right.
She's here to support you. And I think you are well-intended and mean the best for your daughter and for these children. I don't question that. But you two don't get along, so disengage. But you are going to have these 2 children in common for the rest of your lives. When you are ready to act like adults instead of hurt teenagers, then you can learn to co-parent. I will make those resources available to the 2 of you if and when you say, I can maturely engage in this and put my feelings aside. Next, we're going to talk to a couple ripped apart by infidelity and the extremes this wife is making her husband go through to prove he is no longer cheating. We'll be right back.
2 weeks before we got married, I had an affair.
When I was pregnant with my son, I was put on complete bed rest.
While she was gone, I ended up having an affair.
And I just remember being on the sidewalk and falling to my knees and screaming.
Well, my next guest, Matt, says that he is addicted to the adrenaline rush he gets from cheating. Now, he has admitted to 3 different affairs. One while his then pregnant wife, Ashley, was in the hospital with a life-threatening condition. Take a look.
Ashley and I met when we were 18.
My first impression of Matt was that he was the ladies' man. A year into dating, we got engaged, and we got married 9 months later.
2 weeks before we got married, I had an affair because I was stressed out.
I confronted both of them about it, and they both denied it.
After she had found out, she was very upset.
When I was pregnant with my son, I was put on complete bed rest for 6 weeks.
While she was gone, I ended up having an affair.
I found out about that affair from text messages on Matt's phone. And I just remember being on the sidewalk and falling to my knees and screaming.
I felt really bad.
Matt's most recent affair was with my friend.
Third affair happened when I got a text message that was not meant to come to me. We started texting back and forth, ended up having an affair.
I keep tabs on him constantly.
I can't account for time that I'm not at work, then it's like I'm out cheating.
I am starting to feel that he actually is doing it to intentionally hurt me.
Wow. You think he's doing what to intentionally hurt you?
Having these affairs.
Okay.
I mean, he's choosing people that I have a history with, that I know, that I love.
And you say that you have had 3 affairs.
Correct.
You think more.
Oh, yeah.
And you think longer than what he said.
For one of them,
For
yes,
one of them,
I believe
okay.
it went on longer.
And you say you're doing this because you get an adrenaline rush from it.
That's the only thing I can come up with as to why I'm doing it.
One encounter was when we were at her house for a family picnic, and there was an encounter of the 2 of them in the bathroom, and I actually came in the house, and she had to hide in the shower. And afterward, he told her how much fun that was and what a rush it was because he loves close calls.
How's your adrenaline running right now? The first affair was 2 weeks before your wedding?
Yes.
Your second affair was a 6-week affair with a friend while she was in the hospital on bed rest. The third affair was 8 weeks with another friend, right? Okay. Now, she thinks you've had more affairs, have you?
No.
Why would she believe you?
And she has no reason to believe me. I've never given her a reason up until now to believe me.
He's still not giving me a reason to believe him. All he does is get mad that I don't believe him and that I'm suspicious of him because he thinks all he has to do is say, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, and everything's fine.
Yeah, so you said, I wrote down a quote you said because I thought it was particularly focused on what I wanted to talk to you about. It says, quote, "It's impossible to go out of my way every day and reassure my wife I'm not doing something wrong." So you basically think that this is just too much trouble. She's overreacting. She just needs to get over this.
No, I don't think that she just needs to get over it. It's just there's times during my day I don't have time to drop everything I'm doing.
But you know what? He made time to drop everything he was doing every single day for 8 weeks to sleep with my friend. He found the time for that.
What do you want from him?
I want him to stop thinking that he can solve all of our problems with his words. I want him to back it up.
In what way?
I don't even know. That's why I'm here, because I'm so
but it's hard to prove
damaged.
that you're not doing something.
Exactly. And that's what I've told him. I said, you need to prove to me that I'm the only one for you and that you love me and that you don't want anybody else, and you're not doing that. He is putting his job first. He admits he puts his job first. He will drop everything we are doing together as a couple, as a family, and deal with something from work that could wait until he goes to work tomorrow.
So you're not feeling valued?
Absolutely not.
You're not feeling a priority.
Oh, no, never.
You're not feeling loved.
Never.
Attended to.
Never.
Cared for.
No.
Nurtured. Courted.
No.
You're just kind of there. Do you love her?
I do. I love her a lot.
Were you in love with her when she was in the hospital on bed rest having your baby and you were out having an affair with somebody else?
Yes.
You loved her then?
Yes. I have always loved her, even through the things that I've done.
Even though after that affair, he tells me now that he doesn't remember being sorry.
Just how much has Matt's cheating affected Ashley? Well, you're going to be surprised. We'll be right back. Matt says it's been constant accusations, mistrust, and fighting since he was caught cheating. Not for the first time, not for the second time, but for the third time, just 18 months ago. He says he's tired of having to go out of his way every day to prove to his wife, Ashley, that he is not doing something wrong. So what would you like for her to do?
Eventually, to be able to trust me again. Like, to show to her that I do love her and I do want to be with her forever.
But he just wants it to happen. He literally brought me a Starbucks one day when he came home from work and used it for 3 weeks. So, but I brought you Starbucks the other day. Doesn't that count for something? Oh, I'm sorry, you slept with my friend for 8 weeks, so you have 8 weeks worth of Starbucks to bring me.
She makes a point.
Yeah.
If I tell him, I don't feel like you're going out of your way for me, I don't feel like you love me, and that's what, but I brought you Starbucks.
What do you need to do?
I need to get myself some help. My health, my emotions, my mind, everything is gone. At this point, I can't look at him and say that I love him.
Do you understand that you're the one that ran this off in the ditch?
Correct, yes.
So if you run a car off in the ditch, isn't it kind of your job to get it back up on the road?
Yes. It is my...
And if you ran it off into like not one ditch, but a second ditch and then a third ditch, so you're like 3 ditches off the road here. And so you don't go out there and tow it back up on the road for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or an hour or 2 hours. You do it until it's back up on the road, right? You ran it off.
Yes.
You get it back on. And you need to be asking what it is she needs from you.
I guess one of the things that she asked me to do is to call her or text her while I'm at work. And there's times where, and she'll say that I needed to text her and I didn't have time to. Like there's days where my boss shows up and we walk my store. And if she calls and I run late after work, she'll be, well, why didn't you let me know that you were going to be late?
You need to let her know where you are and what you're doing. It's just that simple. Just let her know where you are and what you're doing. And in case you haven't noticed, 1, she is the mother of your children, and 2, she is way cute. So you need to really work on this, okay? Now, let me talk to you about what you need to do. This has really gotten to you.
Oh, yeah.
Your stomach's a mess, like
All the time.
irritable bowel to that point. You're having trouble sleeping. You're saying your face is breaking out. You're having flashbacks. I mean, you're describing PTSD, right?
Yes.
That this was a big
I'm
trauma.
actually having flashbacks of things I didn't see, but details. I was told
Right.
about his affair with my friend in very vivid detail.
Right, and you're playing that out
yes.
in your head. My point is, regardless of what he does or doesn't do, you have lost yourself in this.
Oh, yeah.
And you are a mother.
Yes.
So your children don't have all of who you are. You have to take care of yourself here. Matt says he's been faithful for 18 months and he wants Ashley to stop accusing him and move on. Well, I've said I think there's a whole lot more to it than that. So is she going to be able to do that? She's going to be able to take care of herself. I'm going to tell you what I think next. Okay, now we've been talking about what your symptoms are here. Clearly, Symptoms are something that typically are in reaction to something, either an infection, an illness, a trauma, an event, or whatever. You're having symptoms of anxiety, right?
Yes.
You're feeling apprehensive.
All the time.
True. Are you feeling powerless?
Oh, yeah.
Like, I can't change this. You're having a sense of impending danger or panic or doom sometimes. Increased heart rate, breathing rapidly, sweating, trembling, feeling weak or tired. I mean, these are all symptoms of anxiety. You understand that, right?
Yes.
And that affects the way you are as a wife, as a mother,
A friend,
just
a
as a
sister,
person.
a daughter, it's affected every single part of my life.
It affected every part of you. Now, the only person you can control is you. You can't control him. You have to take care of yourself. Because this has gotten to the point that it's gotten a grip on you, and you have to consider PTSD is an issue here. Dreams and nightmares, you say you're having those, intrusive recollections, some of them you even fabricate, reliving the trauma as illusions, hallucinations, or dissociative flashbacks that you come up with, intense psychological distress if there's exposure to cues, something that brings it all back to you. You have this psychological reaction to those cues. You might avoid thought, feeling, or conversations about it on the one hand and then can't turn it loose the next. You may avoid activities, places, or people because you just kind of want to curl up and get in that fetal position because you feel detached. You can be irritable or aggressive, right?
Yes.
And you deserve every bit of it. So you've got symptoms in both of those things. And the first thing we have to do is get you under control right now in the short term, because this is gaining momentum, right?
Yes.
So you're in a conflict here. You guys need some help as a couple. I'm going to make arrangements for that. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. We will get you the help that you need. I want to thank all of my guests today. Thanks so much for being here. So long.
Today on Dr. Phil.
My husband's mother is insane.
Let Dr. Phil decide how crazy I really am. Come on, Dr. Phil.
You have accused her of being involved in the murder of your son.
Do you think that bringing me on national TV is going to change what I know?
Is she delusional?
Nicole is a liar. She has 5 names. She poisoned my son.
You said she gave Ty psychotropic drugs via his genitals.
That's crazy.
Or is her daughter-in-law
You said she used hoodoo and voodoo.
a devil woman?
Telephone 666. The address where they got married. 666.
Have you married the spawn of Satan here? Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've hurt long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Both of you. Take
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
5, 4.
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
How are you? Hey, guys. How are y'all? Well, all right. I want you to listen to this.
I just pray that nobody ever hurts your children because of all the people your wife's been set up and because of all of the horrible things she's done.
Well, my first guest, Ty, says this message was left on his cell phone voicemail by his own mother, Catherine, who not only accuses his wife, Nicole, of being a scam artist with at least 5 different aliases, but also of brainwashing and drugging him. Take a look.
My husband's mother is insane.
I do not trust my mother, not in her current mental state.
Shortly before Ty and I married, I realized Catherine did not like me. Catherine has made outrageous accusations against me. She accused me of not being an attorney. Catherine says that I am older than I actually am and that I have other children than the children that I have with Ty.
Do yours too, man.
None of it is true. She says that I have multiple identifications, my real name is not Nicole, and that I'm someone else. She also said all of my family at my wedding were fake and they were all actors, which is ridiculous. Catherine has accused me of drugging and brainwashing Ty and holding him hostage.
I can't communicate with you if you believe that I'm under mind control, I'm being kept against my will. What can we talk about?
She's also accused me of defrauding her, and she has called the police on me.
These allegations are from beyond left field. They're not even in the ballpark.
Ty's mother has told him to get rid of me if he wants to have a relationship with her. I think there is an Oedipus complex with Catherine and how she views her son Ty. Catherine hates me because I took Ty, her husband, from her.
Well, if you think being accused of having multiple identities and hiring actors at your wedding is bad enough, Nicole says her mother-in-law, well, she says she has a much more shocking claim.
One of the most outrageous things Catherine has said about me is that I murdered Ty's brother, Michael. Michael was killed in a car accident 7 years ago. Catherine claims that some local politicians devised a conspiracy to infiltrate and harm her family, and that they hired me as part of this conspiracy. Based on the witnesses, this was clearly an accident.
That's when the threats started coming out.
I just pray that nobody ever hurts your children because of all of the horrible things she's done.
I stopped talking to my mother because I didn't want to hear the threats that she had towards my kids.
We've moved in the hopes of getting away from Catherine and to make it harder for her to get to us.
I've thought very strongly about filing a restraining order, but what man files a restraining order against his mother?
I don't want my children to ever be around Catherine. I think it is evil what Catherine has done to us.
Well, is this a mother that is just concerned about her son and should be? Have you married the spawn of Satan here?
You know, Dr. Phill, it's so frustrating because I know that I haven't married the spawn of Satan. I'm very happy with the woman that I've chose. We've been going through this for 7 years now, trying to get my mother to understand and just see none of this stuff is true. I've pleaded to every family member, every auntie, uncle, and the old friends that she had, anybody that I felt that she might listen to.
Okay, now, are you brainwashed?
No.
Are you under mind control of this woman sitting next to you?
Not at all.
Now, you're a graduate of West Point,
yes,
correct?
I am, sir.
You're an engineer?
Yes.
So you're not, like...
I'm not a fool. I'm definitely not a fool, and I'm not someone that can easily be led astray.
Right. Are you afraid of your mother-in-law?
I live with the reality that my mother-in-law is a danger to myself and my children and Ty.
I actually made a list of the security measures, which is sad that you have to do this. But in June 2012, you moved to Northern California just to get away from her threats, right?
Right.
You have to send your mail to a post office box because you say you don't want to give one your address, certainly not her. You refuse to provide their address to anyone, including us. And Ty says, we stay prayed up and believe God will protect us, and what God doesn't protect, my 9mm will take care of. Well, hopefully we're not going to get to that point. We can settle all this down. Did you hire actors to come to your wedding?
I did not hire any actors to come to our wedding. All of our guests were either my family or Ty's family. Catherine says that everyone at my wedding, including my mother, were actors.
But how do we know it's really your family?
Well,
because you have 5 aliases, according to her.
I feel like she lives in a different reality than other people. And
so
I
that
can't
was
get
your
in that
real
reality.
mother and father there?
That was my real mother and father.
Have you seen them since the wedding?
I've seen them before the wedding. I've seen them since the wedding. Yes, it's the same family.
So she either hired them long term.
They got a good deal. They got a great contract.
Or they're the real deal.
And Ty tells his mother that. He says, think about how much this will cost.
Yeah.
You know, this would be millions of dollars.
I guess the only compliment she's ever really paid you is she says you're not really a lawyer.
She...
Just kidding. I'm just kidding. But she says you're not really a lawyer.
Catherine says I'm not really an attorney, although I represented her in a lawsuit and we got to the day of trial. So she's seen me in court, she's seen me work for her, and she says I'm not really an attorney.
Now, and I have to say, I've done a lot of stories. This is our 12th season. I think this is the first time I've ever actually had a grandmother on the show that has never even met or seen her grandchildren. And that's the case here, correct?
It's the case, and it's tragic.
We're going to meet Ty's mother and Nicole's mother-in-law next. We're going to find out what she has to say about this. I've always said, no matter how flat you make a pancake, it's got two sides. So we're going to hear the other side right after the break.
I believe Nicole is a liar. She has 5 names. The investigator that I hired told me she was a grifter, the type of person that is paid to do scams. I believe this girl actually poisoned my son.
And later, you've blamed Ty, you've blamed Chris, you've blamed your political adversaries, you've blamed Nicole, you've blamed yourself.
Please.
The last time I spoke to Catherine, she called us up on her home phone, called me a bee, only she said the word, and she hung up. I don't know why she did that.
You will respect me enough as a man to not disrespect my wife in my face. My mother's reply to that was, I'll say whatever the I want to say.
Well, Ty says his wife, Nicole, has not spoken to his mother, Catherine, in over 7 years. Here's what Catherine has to say about Nicole, who she refers to as that girl.
Up until the time this girl came into our lives, Ty and I were extremely close. My son has a double degree from West Point in engineering. And once he got with this girl, he's not been an engineer since. I call her this girl because I believe Nicole is a liar. This girl claimed that she was an attorney, but she had nothing to show that she was an attorney. When you type her name up for the bar, it popped up. But when I investigated her, she has 5 names. She has Virginia Nuevo, she has a man's name. The investigator that I hired told me she was a grifter, the type of person that is paid to do scams. She lived with me 10 months. It was a complete disaster. I was the cook for them. I was the maid for them. I even changed their sheets. She would leave body waste from her monthly cycle all over the house. She would leave nasty soil pads on the doorknobs throughout the house. That scared me. The turning point in my son's behavior was the night I came to see him after he called me crying. He was so sick, he couldn't walk. He couldn't even stand up. He had a temperature of 106. He was totally naked. This girl had a rag just wiping him like she was in a daze. And I could see his urine was orange. I believe this girl actually poisoned my son. On January 14th, 2006, I got a phone call saying that my son, Michael and Chris, had just been in an accident and they thought Michael was dead and that they had rushed Chris to the hospital. I definitely believe my son was murdered. I believe that Nicole was involved with the people who schemed to murder my son. Right now, I've not spoke to Ty face-to-face in 4 years. Ty packed the children up, and moved to Oakland, which is a place he said he would never, ever live. Every conversation that I have with my son is negative, mean, cruel, for no reason. My son acts like he hates me, and I don't know why.
Well, Catherine, it's good to meet you.
Glad to meet you too, Dr. Phill.
First off, let me tell you how sorry I am for your loss.
Thank you.
Of your son. That's a terrible thing. Please accept my condolences for that.
Thank you.
Now, let's fast forward 7 years to where we are today. You've not talked to her in 7 years?
We really never spoke. She lived in my house 10 months, and I believe we had maybe 25 words. She would get on the computer at 7 in the morning, and she wouldn't get off.
Dr. Phill, I never lived with her.
You never lived in my home in Linwood?
We lived in your home, but you did not live there. I'm not gonna sit there and let you lie.
She's a liar, and she's taught you to be a liar. So let's let Dr. Phill do his job.
Okay.
Let's let Dr. Phill do his job. You brought me here.
You can continue to ask.
You brought me here
questions,
because
Dr. Phill.
I wanted to come here.
Okay.
So let's the doctor
Let's let the
do his
world
job.
know just
So
how far you've lost it.
Exactly. Let the audience and Dr. Phill decide how crazy I really am.
You crazy.
Dr. Phill, please continue.
Well, thank you. I believe I will.
Come on, Dr. Phill, so I can really get him.
Get him.
Okay, well, so let's talk about this woman.
Fine.
Here, you call her
This
that
woman,
girl,
yes.
this girl. Because you have a lot of specific allegations of her.
Yes, I
right?
do.
If you look over your shoulder, I made a list. You said she gave Ty psychotropic drugs via his genitals.
That's how I believe she got it into his system because of the color of his urine. When he was sick. See that some parts are left out. When I went to see, Ty haven't said that he called me at 11 o'clock at night, literally crying, a 30-year-old West Point graduate, literally crying, saying, "Mom, please come. Something's wrong. I don't know what."
Ty had pneumonia. We went to Kaiser Hospital. She came to the hospital with us.
Yeah.
You took
Okay.
Ty and speeded in the back room.
All
I
right,
never
hold
got
on,
to see
hold on.
where
All
he
right, you
was.
said she also used hoodoo and voodoo
Yes.
on Ty.
Yes.
And that her cell number ends in 666.
And the address where they got married.
So the address where they got married,
666, telephone 666.
she had Ty in a cult.
I believe he's in a cult, the church you go to. Ty told me I would never go back to that church. Mom, it was whacked.
Are you in a cult?
No, I'm not in the
No,
cult.
we're not in the cult.
It is a small family church that we
That you
attend.
told me you would never, ever
I
go back to.
never told you I
Pentecostal, the
would
people were
never
crazy.
go.
On my
I never told
son's,
you
on
this.
my dead son's
Don't
spirit.
do that to my brother.
Look,
Don't
look,
you
look,
don't
see, he's crazy.
you
Never
use
talk
my
like
brother's
this.
death like
Never
a tool,
act like
and it
this.
is
He
so
is-
Look at
because
him.
I'm tired of it.
He is offended at the sensibilities
offended.
of you using his
I am
brother.
offended because that's how serious it is to me. He told me that. That outburst, I've never seen it in my entire life.
You've
I've
never
never
used my
seen
brother's
that
death
in-
as a tool.
that- The problem is, you know what you and Nicole did.
You've said she was a spy. You've said that Nicole is not her real name, that she's older, that she has more children than the two with Ty, that she is not an attorney, that she is connected to people
And I stand by everything I've said.
who,
and I can
who
back it
killed
up.
who killed Michael, that he is in danger, so you sent the black Muslims to rescue him?
Why is it a Muslim can't be black? What's the big thing about a black Muslim?
It's
Why
two- it's
they
two
have
different
all
sects.
color
It's
racism?
two different
right,
sects.
and your wife deals with the worst of them.
Oh, Lord.
Okay.
The worst of them.
All right, and you said that she was a plant during your political campaign.
Exactly. Let me explain it.
Weren't you running for city council?
Yes, I was.
In Linwood, California?
Yes.
An unincorporated city.
How many votes
she
did you
came-
get?
Not a real city.
I don't remember. I
Did
don't
you get
remember.
265?
No.
Did you
But I
come in
remember.
9th out of 12?
I have no idea. I don't
I do.
remember. Okay, I was given the Democratic endorsement, and then she came along and told Ty that your mother should not accept this endorsement. I said, Ty, it's too late. They've given me too many endorsements. I can't back out now.
I mean, isn't that a little bit of intrigue for a
neighborhood.
city council in an unincorporated
Not
city?
in my neighborhood where $7 million is missing. Not in my neighborhood.
$7 million is small money compared to the money that it would take to put together this diabolical plot that you have dreamed up. The campaign.
I ran for office twice while he was at
Did you
West
win?
Okay, you're
Did I
not
win?
running
Did you
now.
win?
Talk to
Right.
me. What are you
Yeah.
talking
Did
to
you
them
win?
for?
Because I
you
did
win
not,
when you
because
ran
those are
without
women.
me?
Those are women. That's why. Those
Did
are women.
you win when you ran?
I'll come out here with
when I was
y'all.
at
Maybe
West
she'll
Point?
talk to
Doesn't
me.
matter.
Yeah,
I
because
didn't
you
need
still
to.
haven't won.
Okay, Dr. Phill, come on. Let's finish. Let's go down. Come on, let's finish.
Let's take a break. Catherine hired a private investigator. Now, she's reached out to President Obama and Hillary Clinton and has gone to great lengths in search of the truth about
That's
this woman
it.
that she
I
says
became
is
you.
involved in the death of her son. We're going to find out how that happened when we come back.
My mother blamed everybody for the accident. She blamed my father and I for both not being there when she purchased the car that Michael was allegedly speeding in. She blamed the politicians from her election. It wasn't until a little bit afterwards that she started blaming Nicole.
I totally believe that she is connected to the people that were involved in killing my son.
And later, you said you have been followed, threatened, humiliated, and called an informant, drug dealer, harassed at my job in both of my homes. When I threatened to go to the police, I was warned that my oldest would also be killed.
You didn't know that, huh?
No.
I ran for city council 3 times for the city of Linwood. I became involved in the city because my sons were growing up. The city was dangerous. I know for a fact Nicole was undermining my campaign. I believe that Nicole was passing on my strategy, everything I was doing, to my opponents. Ultimately, I lost the election. I partly blame Nicole for that loss. Nicole, or this girl, whoever she is, she comes from somewhat of a political background. Her brother Jason was a city councilman in Oakland, and her sister ran for mayor, but she lost in 2010. I found out that Nicole's younger brother had been shot in the head, mafia style. Her other brother, Jason, who was a city council person in Oakland, was found dead in his apartment, foaming from the mouth.
I mean, she keeps talking about he was killed. Why are you saying he was killed when all we know is that he died? But when she says stuff like that, it shows that she has complete lack of compassion, which then makes me believe she's just evil.
I want you, without rambling to 100 different things, tell me the basis for you saying that the mother of your grandchildren, the wife of your son, your daughter-in-law, was in collusion with your political adversaries to murder your son. That is a very serious allegation.
The people that was responsible for my son's death, she was involved with those people. Yes, yes, I said that, and I stand by that.
Okay, well, first off, before
let me tell you,
what do you say about that, Nicole?
No, I didn't have anything to do with
Well, you're not involved in the murder of your brother-in-law?
No, not at all.
So why would your political adversaries want to murder your son?
Well, because when I ran for office, our city, if you looked up the city, they had a lot of corruption. And I had promised my constituents in the city I would never steal money and that I would make a particular entity in the city. We had given them $7 million, I would get it back.
Why?
That's what got my son.
The accident happened after she had lost the election.
So you think she got involved with these people?
I think she was. I think they sent her to us.
Supposedly she's involved because a college professor that she had in 1995 is
a
now
radical Muslim
in cahoots with the people who she's accusing of stealing money, and said, well, she was in our class. Let's see if we can get her, go to Tahoe, go to his cabin and meet him.
I love
put
it.
something in him to brainwash him.
I love it. Now,
no, let him finish.
My brother passed in a car accident. So supposedly, in my mother's world, these same people paid somebody to cause an accident.
How fast was your brother driving when this accident happened?
I hear
according to the police reports.
I hear that he was speeding. I've never read the police report.
The witnesses said he was going at least 90.
I want to take a list of everybody that you have blamed for your son's death. You know, first you said
say names, right?
you said Ty should have taken Michael and Christopher skiing that weekend and should have helped her pick out a car that wasn't so fast. So you blamed Michael's father. You said Michael learned to drive fast from him.
No, this is what they're saying.
Christopher, because he was probably acting crazy in the car while Michael was driving. Did you say Mexicans cut Michael off the road?
A Mexican man whom I investigated, whom has many LLCs, who had a business in Oakland. He ran Michael off the road, and in the police report, he said he was a bishop. Not a bishop. Used to have a business in Linwood. Yeah, too many connections.
Then you say people from her campaign upset over things she knew about them.
I don't know about that. That's
You said Nicole, who allegedly leaked confidential campaign information to your political adversaries,
now let me
who
comment.
then chased down Michael and caused the accident.
No, I didn't say that. That's their words. That is their words. I told you exactly what I said. But let me go back
You said,
to why...
quote, the man in an email to the show. You said, I would like to confront the man that caused the accident that killed my son.
I can't say his name, but I sure would.
And then you actually sent us another email where you said, I made some mistakes that caused my 19-year-old to get killed.
I made some mistakes. Trusting people, allowing people to come into my home that I didn't know.
You need to deal with that guilt.
But let me go back to why...
But you've blamed Ty, you've blamed Chris, you've blamed your political adversaries, you've blamed Nicole, you've blamed yourself.
Let me speak, please, please. The reason why I said that she had something to do with it is because not 3 months after the election was over, Ty came to me and said, well, you know, I'm thinking about running for city council. I said, you're going to have to deal with the same people that you said was no good that I had to deal with.
I did. I was ready to move.
On my son's
once again,
because it's not funny.
I want to
That's
run.
why I know something's wrong with you.
I didn't even want to help you with your campaign.
That's why I know something's wrong with you.
Why would I want to run for city council?
Look how you're talking.
Why would I want to run for city council?
That's what you told me, Ty.
You know,
you said I'm thinking about putting my hat in the ring.
Then you sent a letter to President Obama.
Right.
Like you don't have enough to deal with.
You sent a letter to Obama. And later...
You've been in Oakland 2 weeks and you're running for school board. You wanted to be in politics. You wanted to be in politics, but you wouldn't wait your turn. I had built you up. I had built him up in the city.
It comes back to her. You see that?
No.
You have been on a search for the truth here.
Yes.
You've written some letters. You've hired an investigator to look into Nicole's background. In August of 2012, you sent a letter to your state representative.
Yes, I did.
And in this letter, you said, during my campaign, a young woman who was dating my oldest son named Nicole, claiming to be an attorney, moved into my home, drugged us, and sabotaged my campaign.
For some reason, I was saying things that I would never say, like private things from the past. I'm not sure. You know, I'm like... When all of a sudden you're like, wow, why did I say that? So I'm thinking maybe I know she drugged him, so I'm thinking she might have drugged the food. She was in the house.
You don't know she drugged him. You said you have been followed, threatened, humiliated, and called an informant, drug dealer, harassed at my job in both of my homes. When I threatened to go to the police, I was warned that my oldest would also be killed.
You didn't know that, huh?
No, I don't know who you deal with.
Who was it that threatened?
And why am I not dead yet?
Who was doing these things to you?
I had police following me. I had her family. I had like 3 of her people. One of them came to my house, and then I had one follow me into the Social Security office. And what they do, they make remarks. They stand next to me and say, well, you know, your oldest son, are you married? Do you have kids? People just don't strike up conversations. That makes you suspicious right then and there, when people strike up conversations with you. Really, for no reason why.
Hold on. Search for the truth. You then wrote the Bar Association. And to the Bar Association, you said, this letter is in reference to an attorney going by the name of Nicole. This woman is a fraud, dangerous, and should be prosecuted and sent to jail. I'm suspicious of her, so I hired a private investigator who found that she is not an attorney and is using someone with the same name. She is also using aliases.
Her bar license, the Social Security number on her bar license is another one. I called the lady, I spoke with her after the detective gave me the information. How many names do you have? Are you born in June, September, or November? Are you born in 71, 70, or 75 or 76?
I can't get into your reality. It's
not
real.
I guess you can't.
Okay, so you wrote this.
So
you wrote this letter to the Bar Association. Then you sent a letter to President Obama.
Right.
Like you don't have enough to deal with.
And you said, could you please ask Linda Sanchez and Hillary Clinton why their subordinates killed my son Michael and seriously injured my son Christopher? These people have killed my son by setting him up in a car accident due to his past driving record. Okay, why did you write to President Obama?
Because I just wanted some help. I just started writing everywhere because I wanted some answers
and so
I
you
wanted
thought,
some help.
So
No.
So you thought he would call Linda Sanchez and Hillary Clinton?
No, but I was going to get it going. I knew I couldn't get to the president, but I knew if I write to enough people on Dr. Phill.
Yes, you are.
And that's your doing, right?
No, that's your doing.
Yes, you are.
I pushed you to do it.
You pushed me to do it.
That's right.
You pushed
That's
me to do
right.
it
I'm
because
smarter
you
than
need
you.
help. You need help. And luckily, I'm still concerned enough about you to try to do something
What
to get
kind
you
of help do I
You
need?
need somebody to help you deal with your grief.
What?
Because you feel grief and guilt over Michael's passing.
I'm
and
gonna
unfortunately,
always feel,
the
because I
only,
trusted
let me
her to
talk.
come into my
the
house.
only change that has happened has been me marrying Nicole. So you've attached every ill that happens to Nicole.
In your mind.
No, in your voicemails. Everything like you just said, it's that girl's fault. She did this. She even drugged you, but according to you a few seconds ago, all she did when she was there is get on the computer.
She had
When did
access
she
to
drug
my
you?
house. She had
When
access
did
to
she
my
drug you?
refrigerator.
Oh,
She had
Jesus.
access to my food.
Hang on. Ty and Nicole admit Catherine has never met their two grandchildren, who are 5 years old and 3 years old. We'll talk more about that next.
One of my mother's favorite sayings growing up was, I don't get mad, I get even.
I'll do whatever I have to do to protect my family.
Catherine believes that her daughter-in-law, Nicole, caused the death of one of her sons 7 years ago. Nicole and Ty not only deny that claim, but Ty says his mother's comment to his wife that she wanted her to feel what it would be like to lose a child was a huge red flag to them. Now, you're shaking your head like you didn't do that?
Never.
Well, interestingly enough, she left a veiled threat about the fate of their children in a voicemail, and we have the voicemail.
He said he was going into politics, and this is what I said.
I saw a beautiful picture of preschool. I just pray that nobody ever hurts your children because of all the people your wife's been set up and because of all of the horrible things she's done. I just pray your kids don't fall like her brother fell because of the things she's done. Now, Nicole, take that. Is that good? Was that good? Now, let her think about that. Kids are a blessing. Well, I hope that's still happens to your kids because of all the things she's done for other people. Like you called your brother. Bam! Now, Nicole, you want to bring up kids? Let's bring up how you caused your brother to be killed. All her brothers would do it if they were even her brothers. I don't even think those are her brothers. She looks completely different from that so-called brother and sister, don't she? She was nothing like her. Now, that's a made-up name. That's not even her name. That's a made-up name.
You say that's not you?
No, some of that was me. The beginning was. I couldn't even hear all the things
You
they were
didn't know
saying.
that your phone was still recording.
Would you like me to play it again?
You're talking to whoever you're talking to in the car.
Would you like me to play it? Would you like me to play it again?
Yeah, I couldn't care less. No, Dr. Phill, it's fine. I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less because what I said was true. You got to Oakland and called in 2 weeks. I'm running for office. He said, how are you running for office?
I called you.
You called your father and told him, I'm running for school board. You've been in Oakland 2 weeks and you're running for school board? You wanted to be in politics.
I did not want
You
to be in
wanted to be in politics, but you wouldn't wait your turn. I had built you up. I had built him up in the city.
It comes back to her. You see that?
No,
you see that?
But you wouldn't wait your turn.
That's the whole Michael Corleone.
She wanted you to be in politics so bad.
That she got in her head.
She wanted you to be in politics.
It's the family.
She wanted you to be in politics so bad.
My wife wanted me to be in politics.
Oh yes, because her brother and her sister was in politics.
Okay, well, first off, we need to...
You're a liar. You was never a liar.
Hold on.
I'm still not a liar.
You was never
I'm
a
still
liar.
not a liar. It's been ingrained in me not to lie because of the school that I went to. So don't accuse me of being a liar because you're confused and full of pain.
Something's wrong.
You're confused and full. You just said that's not even your voice on your voicemail.
It didn't sound like.
Oh,
I'm so full of pain until I'm able to survive. I work every day.
You're living in this fictional world that's driving you crazy and everybody else.
Really?
Because all of your siblings, all of your sisters, your mother's crazy. We can't do nothing with her.
If I may step in here.
I'm sorry, Dr. Phill.
Did you say that wasn't you through all of that voicemail?
It didn't sound like the end of it. I don't know. But I stand by whatever I said.
So that was you?
Yes.
Okay.
I definitely said that.
Just wanted to
I
be
said
clear.
that.
All right, next, is there any validity to Catherine's claim that Nicole is not an attorney and uses aliases? We brought in an experienced private investigator to get some answers to these accusations and other claims. We'll talk about that when we come back. Now, you hired a private investigator to check her out.
Yes.
And
I went along with what he found.
well, we did a little checking as well. You say that Nicole is not her name and she uses aliases, correct?
That's one of her names. That's what the private investigator told me.
Well, we have a private investigator, Doug Kane, and he found Nicole is her legal name and she has no alias.
Well, you have my documents.
You said that she is older than she says.
She
is indeed 37 years old.
How many birthdays does she have, Dr. Phill?
How many birthdays?
You said that she is not an attorney. She has a law degree, and the California Bar Association has her listed as active.
Active, but is it her?
Yes, they take your fingerprints.
Dr. Phill, her Social Security number on that bar, actually she has 3 Social Security numbers. Did you find that?
No.
Okay, she has 3. I gave them to you.
You said, quote, the seat was mine in the 2005 Linwood City Council race, if not for Nicole.
Right.
But you came in 9th out of 12. You said you lost because of her, that she sabotaged you.
Exactly.
She gave your strategy to your political adversaries.
Well, she caused chaos.
The other 11 of them.
She caused chaos, and I end up getting very upset and made a bunch of remarks maybe I shouldn't have made.
Well,
Dr. Phill,
our private investigator is right here, Doug Kane.
Hi, Doug.
He's private investigator and president of Risk Control Strategies. Okay. Doug has worked with us before. Hello, Doug. How are you?
I'm good, Dr. Phill.
They don't put Social Security numbers on the bar website.
No, they certainly don't.
No, they don't. They don't. That's why the private investigator he was a retired FBI officer, he told me, and he said he had to use some connections to get this information.
Did you check that out? You checked out everything else. Did you check out who this person was?
I went through the yellow pages and found
hold on.
An investigative company, and I used them.
All right, well, we gave that information,
to Doug,
which you gave to us, which we gave to Mr. Kane. You looked at what she had been provided.
You know, without a doubt, Nicole is who she says she is. She doesn't have an alias. She has 1 Social Security number. She is a member of the California Bar. We know that. We validated that. I think where the confusion lies is there are other people with her same name. And because they're similar names, they have different Social Security numbers, different dates of birth. And that was what your report reflected.
This is not the only Nicole out there. And so you got information on other people. And you decided it was about her.
Well, I could never even find out if it was true or not, because at that point, he wasn't talking to me.
Does it seem to you to be of grandiose proportion to come up with a conspiracy theory that you were sabotaged in this race for the city council seat? You came in 9th out of 12.
That was the result of me cussing out some people in Las Vegas.
Good.
And that's our fault.
Glad to hear it. But that doesn't have anything to do with her. We've got to take a break. People at home are blowing up our Twitter accounts. Linda Jajinko says, Ma, you need to step aside and let these people live their life. Helen Luss, 1957, says, it's hard to respect someone...
Her friends are tweeting now. Oh!
...who is constantly disrespectful to you.
Do you think that bring me on national TV is going to change what I know?
This is exactly what...
Well,
this is why
I certainly hope so. We're going to come back, and I'm going to do some talking. And I promise you I can handle the floor. We'll be right back. Catherine, I'm trying to give you a reality check. I think that you have gotten so caught up where one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you have constructed this belief system that just simply...
I'm sorry, I can't allow you to say that I'm hallucinating.
I'm not saying you are delusional. I'm saying that you got caught up in a situation where you have lost objectivity. And today, I hope that you go, well, okay, you know, maybe things aren't as bad as I thought they were, and maybe I can stand down and take a deep breath here and maybe begin to fashion a relationship with my son and his wife and have some opportunity to meet these grandchildren and have the joy that comes from having the grandchildren in your life.
I'm all for that.
That's what I want to do. But I think you need some help to work this out, to sort out what's right and what's not right. And I'm willing to arrange that for you, just as our gift to you.
They're fine. They don't need any help.
Why do you care about that if what I'm trying to do is get you in a position where you can find out? I'm offering you help. They're not your job. You're your job.
I want help.
You don't want it? Say so. No. Listen, I got a hell of a lot else to do.
I want help because I want to be in my son's life and in his children's life.
And if you want
this is
to
why
be in my
I came
life,
here.
The only thing I've ever asked you to do is to show me the respect of a husband. Do not disrespect my wife in front of me. Do not call her.
When did I? I don't see you.
When did you? Before we moved out. When you decided after we came, 2 weeks after we came back from our honeymoon, you decided, well, I'm going to go stay in Linwood. You told my father, I'm about to go ruin this marriage. And you came down there every night I came home. You wanted to be...
Well, you
Let me
came and
finish.
picked up $600 worth of Christmas gifts. What did I say? When you came and picked up $600 of Christmas gifts,
you went and talked to my friend in Texas.
$600 worth of Christmas gifts.
This is exactly why I haven't accepted
What did I say to you? When you came to pick up the gifts, I said, I love you and I want you to be happy. And I sent you out my door.
Exactly why I haven't taken another gift from you.
I have one last question for you.
Yes, Dr. Phill.
How's this working for you?
It's not. Do something different. Insane.
Then that's why I'm saying, let me get you some help. And believe you me, this help's gonna involve him. You asked, is it just me? Like, am I crazy? You're gonna fix me and they're fine? No, no, no. This is going to have to be brokered between the two of you. Will you let me help you in that way?
Yes, definitely.
That would make you happy.
Very happy.
Okay, we have a deal?
We have a deal.
Bones, can we escort Catherine off here? We're going to be down here. We are going to follow up here, and we're going to try to get some help here. And there may be a point at which we say that this counselor may say, would y'all come in for a joint session? But that's going to be a fair ways down the road here.
Exactly.
Okay? And you have the patience of a saint. Okay? All right, thank you. I want to thank all of my guests today, drphill.com. So long.